After 2 months, it's time to leave beautiful Colombia. And we are doing that in quite a hurry. For 2 reasons. The south of Colombia isn't very safe, and we are also having some issues with the truck. We are family everywhere. More than 4 years ago, we chose a slower life with more time for each other. We traded our house for the world, and after exploring Europe and North America, we are now traveling through South America. Join us on an incredible journey to the southernmost tip of Argentina and to the most beautiful places in the world.
Good morning! We slept here on the parking lot of a gas station. Not very quiet or pretty, but very practical because we are driving a lot of kilometers south. But the nice thing is that, you know, we get out of the car, we get in the back and we are home. Or not, girls?
Yeah!
Yes, we have everything what we need here. So, you know, we are immediately are home, and sometimes I even forget that I forget where we are. Last night we were sitting here and then suddenly there is a noise and it's like, oh yeah, right, we are here on a gas station. So yeah, that is really nice. Wherever we are, if it's on a really nice spot or a very ugly one, it doesn't matter, we are always home.
The plan is to drive to the Ecuadorian border as quickly as possible, but not without making a stop in the village of Silvia, just above Popayan.
Weet je wat die mevrouw zei? Die zei welkom thuis. Oh ja, dat is niet op het grazen, dat zie je.
Welkom thuis.
Hello and welcome to Campground Bonanza, a campground from a Moroccan family who settled here 8 years ago after traveling for 4 years with their family in South America. A really inspiring story also. Their kids are now adults and they study in the US, I believe, and Norway. Oh, a really nice story. But here we are. Tomorrow we are going to Silvia, and Silvia is a village nearby, and Silvia is known for its indigenous market. A lot of indigenous people come there on Tuesday to sell their produce. And we are now on 2,500 meters elevation, and we really notice that in the night because it's cool. It cools down much more than before. So last night we were a little bit chilly. So this night, after, well, probably more than a year sleeping under only like this thin, you know, blanket cover, we are going to put the thicker blanket in again. And these campgrounds we call overland campgrounds, often run by people who traveled themselves and who now created well, sort of meeting points for other overlanders to exchange experiences about routes, about border crossing, shipping, all kinds of stuff. Also a place where it is always nice to stay a little longer, but we are not going to do that at this time because we are kind of in a hurry, but I will fill you in on a later moment about that. But now, for example, there is a French lady who is traveling all by her own, really cool, and I believe a German couple, but I didn't spoke to them yet. Hey, is het tof daar? In die boomhut. En die hond die waakt over jullie, dat is lief. En?
Carlijn is een
Wauw!
kleuren, maar ze heeft een beetje...
You know the trick?
No?
The trick is not to go up, the trick is to go down.
Okay.
So
Well,
you
that's...
do this.
Yeah.
Ah.
Ah, perfect!
Oh, and that German couple? Turns out it's actually a solo female traveler of 76 years old. And the next morning, Kike takes all of us along to explore the local market. Every Tuesday, the small mountain village of Silvia transforms into a big, colorful market. The Mizek, also known as the Guambiano people, live in 6 villages around Silvia. On market days, they all come together to sell or trade what they grow themselves. This market really belongs to the community, and it's not aimed at tourists at all. That is why I'm careful with filming here. I've heard that they don't appreciate over-the-top photography. Since Colombia's 1991 constitution, this indigenous community has territorial autonomy. They run their own schools, healthcare, and even have a traditional legal system. What stands out right away is the traditional clothing, so different from what we saw in Central America. Every color has its own meaning. And then there is the bowler hat, probably the most striking item, and yet not as traditional as you might think. This fashion came via Bolivia in the early 20th century, influenced by the English styles. But since 2001, there's been a shift. Young people have started making their own traditional hats again, by hand. And these hats grow with the wearer. In shape, color and finish, they basically tell that person's life story. Super interesting.
El chumbe tiene tres funciones.
Bye!
Tschüss!
Bye bye! Chakram? What was it?
Chakram!
Shukran! Bye!
In 2 days, we drive like crazy towards the Ecuadorian border. And it's clear the landscape is changing. Right before sunset, we arrive at our destination. But since there's something interesting to see here in the evening, we decide to head back out not long after.
But we are in a hurry. Okay, we were in a hurry because now it doesn't really matter. Two causes. One, our car insurance. This expired 2 days ago and we found out that last week. But we didn't want to extend the car insurance too much of a hassle for the few days. We wanted to stay longer because you need to go to Exido. That's a kind of supermarket and they are always in cities and we are not in the mood to drive in a city. So we changed our plans, our route, and we hit the gas and went to the border of Ecuador. Second reason that we also only hit the gas and didn't stop in the southern part of Colombia is because of safety. We were advised by locals, we saw an overlander warnings to not stop unnecessary on the way in the last part south because it's less safe. There are more guerrillas active in this area. So that is what we did. We drove long days until we are now here nearby Ipiales. And Ipiales is the border city of Colombia, and we are now parked on this massive parking lot near the church. The church is over there in the canyon. And then we thought it doesn't matter anymore if we will drive today uninsured to the border or tomorrow, and so we decided to stay around for a day. Pascal is doing some chores on the truck and the kids can bike and they are playing there. But yeah, tomorrow we will drive to the border of Ecuador. So Pascal, you have been busy this morning. What did you do?
Yeah, we had some strange noises a couple of days ago, and we already saw that it was from the dynamo. 4 years ago this part broke down and we had some people repaired it.
Yes.
But now it broke down again.
Yes, but now you glued it. See?
Yes, we have some epoxy and that works pretty well on metal. So we glued it. And yeah, when I was under the car I thought let's do some other things, so I tightened up the brakes, the handbrake. I checked the other brakes of the car and they were good. I checked the oils and some of the oils need to be changed, so I will do that in a few days.
And you greased a lot, I saw.
And I grease a lot, but on this road that's really necessary. Even I did it 2-3 weeks ago, but it's really necessary to do it more often than normal. So yeah. It's all dirty again.
Yeah, we found out that these roads here are terrible for the car. Also a couple weeks ago our exhaust broke off. It's now hanging there. Luckily it's not something what we need to fix right away, because it happened after all the filters and stuff, right?
Yes.
So but yes, in the next week we will definitely have some more work on the truck. De lama! We zagen hem al van boven, hè?
Ja, lama, wacht, zit.
Ik denk dat we binnenkort nog wel meer lama's gaan zien, jongens.
To be fair, that colorful spectacle from last night was fun. But in daylight, when you can really see how this church is built into this canyon, it's even more impressive. The Santuario de Las Lajas near Ipiales might be one of the most remarkable churches in South America. It was built between 1916 and 1949 on the spot where, according to the legend, the Virgin Mary appeared in 1754 to an indigenous woman and her deaf daughter. They say an image of Mary miraculously appeared on the rock wall, and it's still there today, forming the altar. The church is literally built in a canyon, about 15 meters above the river. Its dramatic location symbolizes the transition between the earthly and the divine. Las Lajas is still a popular site, whether for faith or simply to admire its stunning architecture.
Alsjeblieft.
Dankjewel.
De veesnaar is aan de beurt.
Ja.
Toch nog even gauw voor de grensovergang.
Eens.
Ja?
Hij zwabberde een beetje.
Hij zwabbert een beetje. Oké.
En hij zit goed vast.
Oh, dus dat aandraaien is niet zo makkelijk dan?
Nee. Zo, nu zit hij weer strak.
Goed zo. Dus geen gezwabber meer.
Nee, niet op deze. Misschien zometeen nog even naar die andere kijken.
Oh, er zijn 2 veesnaren?
Ja.
Oké. En zit hij beter?
Ja.
Ja?
Hier in ieder geval. Heb je nog een keer stuk af een 20 voor mij?
All trucks always smell a bit, but up here at almost 3,000 meters, it's definitely more noticeable. The higher you get, the less oxygen there is, which makes it harder for the engine to burn fuel properly. And yeah, the lower diesel quality here doesn't exactly help either.
En de handrem moet nog wat strakker?
Ja, nog een half slag.
Before we crossed the border to Ecuador, we did some groceries first, because last week we heard that the groceries are going to be more expensive in Ecuador, like a 20-25%, I thought. And I don't care at the border what you all take in, so we did some good groceries today. And Colombia is in general the less expensive country we saw coming from the north, from Canada. So that was really nice doing groceries in the last weeks. Ecuador will be more expensive, except for the diesel, because now in Colombia we paid 60 cents a liter, and in Ecuador
It will be 50.
50 cents a liter, so that's nice making kilometers.
And then off to the Ecuadorian border, which by the way goes incredibly smoothly. First we get our Colombian exit stamps and then we cancel the temporary import permit for the truck. With the same cheerful attitude we were welcomed with, we are now waved off. One customs officer even runs after us to ask if he can take a picture with us and the truck.
Okay. Hallo Ecuador!
Doei. Doei,
Doei Colombia!
In Ecuador it's the same drill. A stamp in our passport and a car paperwork. Welcome to Ecuador. In the border town Tulcan, we find a place to stay for the night and we immediately check out the, well, unique cemetery.
Carlijn, kom je mee? Nou, kijk eens hier. Vinden jullie dat tof? Kijk eens wat mooi.
Die Maya's. Mama, dat lijken echt de Maya's.
Dat lijken dat de Maya's. Maar zijn we nu misschien in Incaland nu? Ik zal een foto maken met de pinguïn.
Mama, en ik zou ook graag een klein... Het is het stier geboren. Zie je een klein babytje?
Oh ja, ja klopt. Ik denk dat het inderdaad kindjes zijn die overleden zijn.
De koningin.
Allemaal scheve gezichten, hè? Nou, loop maar jongens. We gaan weer weg. We gaan terug naar Midi.
The next day we drive deeper into Ecuador. Well, not that far actually, because just past the border we are suddenly in a completely different landscape. We are instantly swept away by Ecuador and its spectacular nature. But more on that in the next video. Did you enjoy this video and all our adventures in Colombia? Give us a thumbs up and we would love to hear from you in the comments. Thanks for watching and see you next week.